There's the championship banners that Ricky was referencing just moments ago as we bring you back inside Scotiabank Field at Nat Bailey Stadium. It is just a rite of passage when it comes to summertime here in Vancouver. You come out to the Nat and cheer on the Canadians, who right now have a 1-0 lead. And Adam Kloffenstein's been pretty doggone good here so far in this baseball game. It's an inning that is brought to you by East Van Brewing Company. East Van Brewing Company, our neighborhood, your beer. And now, just days later, Adam Kloffenstein's old enough to drink one of those East Van Brewing products. He just turned 19 back on the 25th of this month.
I'm still really impressed with how polished he is, Rob. Like, really impressed. Like, from his warm-up pitches to, I know it's only been first 2 innings, but just how clean he is. It's what's impressive.
He did an article, John Lott, the writer with The Athletic from Toronto, flew out here and spent a really good chunk of time with Adam Kloffenstein and put together a tremendous article. And I thought it was really revealing as the first pitch he swung on and missed from Mason House's bat. He mentioned one line, because everybody had heard that Kloff was, a little sure of himself. He got this $2.5 million and 18 and yada, 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 gold chains and Jordans. Another pitch in for a strike. But Kloff said to John Lott, he goes, "I'm not as good as I thought I was." And even though you read the 3-page spread, it was that one line that made me say, you know what, he's on the right track.
He gets it. That's what we like to say. He gets it. And he realizes, hey, there's work to be done. The opposing team is not going to fold because a team gave you $2.5 million. No, if anything, it's going to motivate them to be like, what is this guy all about?
And that's going to be called foul, even though the ball goes out to the first baseman. It went off the shin of Mason House. He was talking with the broadcaster for Tri-City, Chris King, and he says, man, everybody on the bus was like, we got to face this guy again. And the 6-person rotation sometimes has the same team facing the same guy more often than not. And Tri-City drew the short straw again tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's been as good as advertised.
It's the 5th meeting between Kloffenstein and Tri-City this year.
Wow.
In a short season.
Hang with them.
Yeah, 2 balls to 2 strikes here with nobody out. Blue Jays take it on the Braves tonight. Canadians take it on the Dust Devils. Pitch inside, and I think that might have caught him on the foot. A rare blemish for Adam, as House, the leadoff hitter, is going to trot down the first base line. And that's one of those ones where, Ricky, take a look at it. Maybe overthought the last pitch here.
Well, what you see here is he's trying to go in, and he just yanked that sinker. He wanted to bring it back, and from his standpoint, he's thinking, I'm going to throw it right at his hip and bring it back so that I freeze him. And I think he just kind of hung on to it a little bit too long and pulled it, and that's why it ran in on him. But he was trying to bring it back and trying to go in. You could tell from the pitch before he was going to beat him in there.
Jason Pineda, the first baseman, watches a pitch at 91 miss. 1 ball and no strikes. I know we're waxing on poetically here about Adam, but another thing is he doesn't let things snowball.
And that's a good thing. That's a huge thing, especially being 19 years old.
It's a breaking pitch. You know what? Sometimes I feel like it's a slider. Then all of a sudden I look up at the old video board. It says 92. It's just a fastball with some run on it.
Yeah, it's got so much movement on it. You can see why he's so successful. And then he drops that.
Well, the story with Kloffenstein is the Blue Jays took him in the 3rd round last year and overpaid him his slot to get him to not go to college. And Jordan Groshans, actually a teammate of Kloff's, there's another pitch that swung on and missed. Strikeout number 3 was actually willing to give up some of his bonus to make sure they could get Kloffenstein.
Well, another thing Dimitri said, you see here a really good slider. He drops a 1-2 12-6 hammer on him, and then he drops a slider that's sharp down and away. I mean, that he pretty much showed him the kitchen sink right there. But what I was going to say, talking to Dimitri before the game, he said, I was like, what kind of off speed does he have? Does he have the curveball or a slider? He's got both. And I'm like, both? I was like, does he throw both? And he's like, Oh, yeah. I was like, what's that mean? He's like, well, they're both plus plus. I'm like, when he first came up to me and he's like, I throw two off-speed pitches, the first thing I laughed. I was like, yeah, okay. Because at this age, you're lucky if you can control one of them. And he's like, and then I got to see him throw, and I was like, he really can control both of them. So,
well, it's such a treat to be able to bring this game to everybody, because I'm sure there are people back east that are desperate to get to this broadcast to see really one of the best arms in the entire organization. 1-1. Change-up, swing and a miss.
And like I said, when you're able to have control over two great breaking ball pitches and a curveball and a slider, normally you see one out of a pitcher, one or the other. And for him to be able to have both in his back pocket just makes it that much better. Like I said, the only thing he needs to work on, he's got it, but he doesn't throw it a lot, is his changeup.
It's a fastball up at 93. 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Matthew Acosta. Acosta with a .248 batting average. Again, Canadians lead this one 1-0. Tri-City has been limited to just 1 hit. And we welcome everybody that was watching the Toronto Blue Jays and the Atlanta Braves back in Toronto. We've got a treat for you if you've stuck around, as we've got blue chip prospect Adam Kloffenstein, who has been outstanding in this baseball game. It's 1-0 Vancouver here in the top of the 3rd. And right now, with a runner at first and second, King Clough, who's already got 3 strikeouts in this game, will face Jordy Barley, the top of the order. I'm Rob Fai, alongside Ricky Romero and Caroline Frolic. Welcome to Nat Bailey Stadium, as we bring everybody together now. We've had viewers on Sportsnet 1. Now we get everybody on Sportsnet Pacific, and you are getting a look at Adam Kloffenstein, the 3rd rounder from the 2018 draft, assigned to Vancouver this year, and he might be the Northwest League Pitcher of the Year. That's how good he's been. The first pitch to Barley. Fastball in for a strike at 93, and the count goes to 0-1.
And I think you want to see these kinds of situations that pop up for him when he's got man on first and second. It's easy when you're rolling right through the lineup. I want to see this type of stuff right here. How he handles it, how he pitches, and these moments like this are key for him in his young career.
Well, as you mentioned, he just doesn't let things snowball, and he is so competitive and wants to beat you every single time. And we've been so lucky here at Vancouver to get the better part of the season with King Clough, as he's known on social media. Pitch it misses away, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Some good speed on the bases. Mason House is out at second. Matthew Acosta, the Tri-City Dust Devils center fielder, is on at first. It's the future of the San Diego Padres against the future of the Toronto Blue Jays here in Vancouver tonight. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Got him. And that's what makes him so very, very good. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Strikeout number 4. And Ricky, take me back on this one.
Yeah, you see it right there. He's ahead in the count, and you can tell he put a little extra mustard on that fastball, down and away. And he's, like I said, if you live down and away with that sinker at 94, that's a tough pitch to hit.
And Tri-City, of course, is trying to get into the postseason, and this is not the guy that they wanted to face tonight. So here's Reynaldo Ilarraza, ball chopped foul.
But this is the guy that the Vancouver Canadians want in order to try and make that playoff push. So in all, it's a pretty good thing that the Canadians are dealing with, and not so good for the Tri-City.
It's not. And Tri-City knows it. And the rest of the Northwest League knows it. And I've said if the Canadians could just somehow weave their way into the postseason, you've got Alek Manoah and Adam Kloffenstein. It's a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Oh, yeah.
0-1. Swing and a miss.
Man, that sinker just is dancing for him today. You're seeing some bad swings right there on some good pitches. Those pitches, especially sinkers, start right down the middle of the zone and they just disappear. And he's got that type of stuff. Like I said, it's not a 97, 98, 99 mile per hour fastball. It's a 92, 94 with really, really good movement.
Kloffenstein, deep breath. check that runner at second. Kicks and fires. Worked its way around the plate. Kloffenstein in this game has gone 2 2/3. He's allowed 2 hits in this game, but he hasn't allowed a run. He hasn't walked anybody, and he has been able to strike out 4 in this game, but is trying here to pick up his 5th. And a pitch back into the mesh.
I don't think that's where he wanted that pitch right there. It's a little up in the zone and not the pitch you want to you want to throw in that situation. So he gets a second shot right here. And
his catcher is Brett Wright, who 2 years ago was catching Casey Mize, who ended up being the #1 overall draft pick. So it's really neat to see a seasoned veteran behind home plate working with both Manoah and Kloffenstein.
That always helps.
1-2. Nasty. My goodness, 3 strikeouts in the inning. How about this? All those viewers come in from the Blue Jay game, and the first 2 batters that they see both strike out at the hands of Adam Kloffenstein. We're going to find our way to the home half of the 3rd. Canadians going to try to build on a 1-0 lead as you're watching Vancouver Canadians baseball tonight, presented to you as always by A&W, and you're doing it right here on Sportsnet Pacific.